Well, this morning, Mike is in Studio B with Steve, Tony, and Tucker to teach you how to beat the blackjack odds.
Yeah,
Steve.
we brought the pro in, Lark, to try to give us some secrets here. So, Mike Aponte, welcome back to Fox 5 Morning News. We're glad you're with us. Of course, we have our card sharks with us as well. Tucker Barnes wearing the glasses and the hat indoors like it's a poker tournament. Tony Perkins with us as well, and our producer, Sean McGarvey, who is also our dealer this morning. Mike's going to give us some of the secrets. Basically, the key to this, and we'll put it up on the screen right now so you have an idea what to look for throughout this segment as we play along. The key is that as we're counting cards, cards get a specific point value. So as you can see on the screen, if you go with the lower cards, which is basically 2 through 6, you assign those cards when you see them on the table a value of +1. The middle cards, forget about it. There's 0 value to the cards 7, 8, and 9, so you just ignore them. And then anything 10 and higher, obviously the face cards, gets a value of -1. So that's the basic details that you need to do as far as counting the cards. And essentially, when you get a high plus count, that means there's going to be more high cards left in the deck, more low cards have been played, so theoretically, you want to bet more money. Did I get that right?
Right on point.
All right. Well, we're learning something today. So listen, what we're going to do is we're going to deal a few cards here. Tony, Tucker, and Mike are going to play, and at the same time, Mike's going to tell us some of the secrets that you can follow along with at home. And Mike, the basic strategy of blackjack is what you need to master first. What we're assuming in this example is that folks have already picked up one of these basic strategy charts and mastered it, because this is what's going to keep you even with Vegas house odds, or at least close to it. We're going to take it a step above that, assuming that you know basic strategy, and talk about the counting of the cards. And Mike's going to tell us essentially at what point we're going to start to put the big money out on the table and theoretically have better cards coming out. So my first question for you, Mike, is when the dealer deals the cards, what do you look for to keep that count? Because it gets very confusing. Are you looking for every card as it comes out?
Well, you're looking to keep track of just the high cards and the low cards, since those are the ones that actually affect the count. And the best way to keep the count is just to pair them up, the meaningful cards. Because a lot of times they'll end up canceling each other out, or you'll go up and down by 2.
All right, so in this example, just so you can follow along, the first card we pulled out was a 3. That would be a value of, Mike?
+1.
+1. All right, Tony's got 2 low cards in front of him. Add that up, +3. Tucker's got 2 low cards in front of him. Now we're up to +5. Mike has 1 low card and 1 neutral card. We're at +6. Sean has a neutral card in front of him. So right now, our count would be +6, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. Let's keep dealing the cards. And now, of course, you have to play along. So, Tony, basic strategy on a 10.
Take a hit.
All right, remember, our count is +6 right now.
Right, but that's good.
And it stays +6.
It stays +6, that's right. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to hold there.
And our count is +6. Tony taking, or Tucker taking a hit on the 8.
Now I'm supposed to stick there at 16.
Stays +6. He stays there. And Mike?
I'll take a hit.
Our count is +6. He's playing on a 14. He busts at a 22. The count is still +6. So now the dealer plays out the rest of his hand, and Sean has another low card +7 and a neutral card. So we end this.
Sorry, gentlemen.
So we ended this hand +7. Now what's important there is that this is going to help you decide how you're going to bet on the next hand, right?
Exactly. You want to basically bet, according to how many high cards versus low cards are remaining. So the more high cards remaining, the bigger your advantage. So you want to bet according to that percentage.
Okay. So if it is +7, then theoretically there are more.
Well, there's 7 with a running count of +7. There's 7 more high cards than low cards remaining. So we're getting to the point where the advantage is swinging to our favor.
All right. And Tony, you have a question?
One good point to make is that obviously we lost there, so you're not going to. This system is not going to. You're not going to win every hand, but you'll have a greater advantage. You'll have a greater percentage of winning over the period of the game.
You're right. Card counting is about getting the edge over the long run. So you're not going to win every hand or every hour.
It's not magic.
Exactly.
All right, Sean will do another hand, and maybe you can try and keep track at home right now. If we started a count of +7.
Mr. Barnes is betting $200.
I'm feeling confident that we're now +7.
That is Tucker.
Start to pull this out a little bit.
And in the meantime, obviously, there's other activities going on if you're playing cards, so you have to kind of keep track. And if you want to do it 2 at a time, like Mike was saying, then perhaps that's the way to do it as well. Just to give you an idea right now, if you want to take a guess, we started with a count of +7. Tony's 2 cards, add 1 to that mix, is +8. Tucker's adds 2, that's +10. Mike's adds 2, now we're up to +12. So if you were actually playing the game right now, Mike, then you would really start to feel a little more comfortable now. But there's something else, because you said the key is not just what that count is, but the count in relation to what?
To the number of decks remaining.
Okay.
So you have to take into account the running count and in conjunction with the number of cards remaining, because that gives you the concentration in a sense.
Which in a typical Vegas table, the shoe,
16.
which Mike was
Stick
just
there.
shooting there, the number of decks remaining, there's how many decks that
10?
will be in a typical Vegas shoe?
The standard number of decks in the shoe is 6 decks.
Okay, so what you would do then, if our count was plus 12, which now it's going to be actually higher than that based on the cards that are on the table right now, but if the count was plus 12, and say there were 4 decks left, and that's just an estimation to your point, right?
Right.
You would estimate there's 4 decks left in the shoe. So if the count is plus 12, there's 4 decks left, then what does that mean?
Well, that means, well, you're going to base your bet based on the true count, which is, if you had a running count of plus 12, you would divide by the 4 decks
4.
remaining, and that'd give you a true count of plus 3.
Plus
And
3.
is that true
pretty
count
good.
what you really want to base your betting strategy on?
Exactly. The true count's going to determine the size of your bet. So at a true count of plus 3, you would bet two units, which is just based on your
So you may
bankroll.
double what your normal bet would be, essentially,
Yes.
at that point.
Now, and you're estimating, though. I mean, you can't go into a casino and say, hey, how many decks are you using in the shoe?
Well, fortunately, the casinos, all the played cards, they place right in the discard tray, which is in plain view.
Right.
So if you know that
Look at
you
this.
start off with 6 decks and you've seen that about 1 deck's gone by.
And it's probably not proper Vegas etiquette to ask the dealer what the count is on the table at the time,
What is
right?
the count so
No,
far?
no.
All right, so listen, once you get that true count and you figure out the math and how to do that, if you had that true count like we just said of a plus 3 perhaps, at what true count though is the secret?
it.
At what point do you decide I'm going to put the big money out on the table?
Well, on average, when the true count reaches about plus 2 is when the advantage swings to your favor. And as it increases above that, you want to bet more and
More
more.
and more. So plus 2 that's the magic point. All right, Mike, thank you so much for coming in.